You know what I'm saying? So it's like, some people, their mindsets are completely different. You never know. But me
Yeah,
personally, I just feel like I guess you could say I'm a pragmatist. Life goes on regardless of what happens. It just depends on how you deal with it and how you take a hold of it. You feel
that's
me?
true. That's true.
And
Can I clip this on you?
I mean, yeah, I'm not tripping.
Don't mind. Just do it right here on your. So, are you interested in talking about your God?
I mean, I can. I'm not. Yeah. I mean, when I was younger, so like, I moved to America when I was like hella young.
Nice.
You know,
Where'd you come from?
a place called Dominica.
Where?
A place called Dominica.
Dominica.
Yeah. It's different from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
They're two different islands.
Nice.
But I came out here when I was hella young, and like my grandma, she was always in church.
Yep.
So like she always kept us in church. Me, my brothers, and my sister. And my cousins and shit, we was always in church. We was
Nice.
always going out every Sunday. You had to get up. There was no excuse. You had to get up. And it's like nowadays I see how much that kind of reflects on certain people. That's one thing. Okay, I guess I can say that because
Yeah.
nowadays I guess you could say is the way you was brought up is the way you are now, or the way
Yeah.
that you were molded to be.
Sure.
Because if you look at society now, it's crazy how you have so many different for one, so many different, I don't know, I don't want to say anything, but there's so many different things going on. Like, say, there's different genders now, what I'm
Yep.
saying? There's different beliefs, there's a whole bunch of different things, that before, like 5 years ago, this shit never existed. Or like 10 years ago, this shit never was really a thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, certain things like that, like growing up in a church, it's like taught me to like, or it's made me believe like certain things are wrong. But like as I got older, I started to realize like people are gonna do what they want regardless of what their beliefs are. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's
So-
always like
Yeah.
somebody like they say the flesh and the soul are two different beings,
Okay.
but they have the same personality.
So is that something that you believe, that there's a soul that's different from your
I
body?
believe that there's a hell and a heaven. I do.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I do.
Let's pick one of these because we hit on a bunch of things. I love them all.
Okay.
So you talked about belief in God.
Yeah.
You talked about how you were raised is
Yeah.
how you wind up, right?
Yeah, and
You
so
talked about heaven and hell.
yeah.
Let's pick one of those and let's dive into
I
that.
would say like probably like heaven and hell because
Okay.
although my grandma has been raised like she's been in church her whole life and she's been doing stuff within like the church family her whole life.
Yeah.
I have brothers who has been incarcerated.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I have family members who don't do the godly things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being raised a certain way doesn't mean you end up that way.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You could
Sure.
always diverse
like,
or
change
like
your path
you
or
could always
something like
merge
that.
and make your
Yeah.
own path. You know what I'm saying?
By the way, my name is Nick.
Nice to meet you, Nick.
What's your name?
Omando.
Omaga?
Hey, Omando. Omando.
Omando.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice to meet you.
Omondo?
Yeah.
Perfect. Cool.
Oh no, Omando.
Omando.
Yeah.
Omando. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And is that a name from Dominique?
Nah, it's just a random shit, bro.
Okay.
Random shit.
Nice. Your parents just smoked a blunt and made it up.
Type shit. I guess so.
Cool.
I don't know.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's awesome. I love it. It sounds like a great name.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get a little bit more formal than this. So you believe that there is a literal heaven and a literal hell, that is an afterlife for
Yeah,
for
I'll
people
say
here.
more
Sure.
spiritually than literal. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, literal is more of like a physical form. Literal
Yeah.
is being more of like something that's present or something that's, right in front of you as for like tangible. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's something that you can feel, touch, or hear that's, right in your eyes.
Yep.
Something that's like heaven is more like spiritual. It's like I say, the soul and the body are two different things.
Yeah.
You know?
So let me because I don't want to get away from the heaven hell thing, but you mentioned a really interesting point, which is you use the word spiritual.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by that? Can you define spiritual for me?
Spiritual is just like I basically is like what. So you know how they say you can't take anything with you when you're gone.
Yeah.
Which means your body. You can't take the flesh with you when you're gone. But then again, you have a spirit inside of you, which is also can be a form of you that is not really shown, but
Okay.
it's also a form of you that's been expressed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you may not feel the way that you feel in your flesh, but your spirit may feel a certain way, and you may express that without even knowing that.
Okay.
You know?
So how do you know that this spirit exists?
It's not really knowing, it's just more of a belief,
Okay.
Because I've always grown up to believe that heaven and hell is a real place because I've grown up in the church. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I've always been in church. Every Sunday I went to church, you know? So it's something that I've been stuck with, something that I believe in, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just something that I just, you know, go by.
So
It's one of my morals, I guess you could say.
is being raised in a church or being raised with a belief a good reason to believe that the belief is true?
I mean, it may not be a good reason, but it definitely helps the belief because then again, you're encouraged by a bunch of the same people that believe the same thing you believe.
Yeah.
And they're worshiping the same thing you worship. So
Yep.
then again, if you're sitting there at the same time on a Sunday, sitting in church with the same person that's sitting there worshiping the same God that you believe in,
Yeah.
you're not going to really have much doubt because then again, you see a bunch of other people doing the same thing that you're doing, believing
Yep.
in the same thing that you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not really a bunch of doubt. It's more so of a reassurance, you know?
Yeah, so you're saying that having common beliefs helps with social cohesion.
I
Helps
guess you
bring
could say,
people
yes.
together
Not
and keep
only-
a community together.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's
Yeah.
what it's called, community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once you have a bunch of people believing in something, you can never lose faith.
Okay. So is having that community and having that value in the community, like a real value, is that a good reason to believe that the thing is true? Like there's actually, like if we talk about, yeah, let's get back to that. Like I asked you, is it important to you to believe that your beliefs are true? And what you said was, well, sometimes it's okay to believe things just because, you know, other people around you believe them.
Well, okay, that means that then people are easily influenced, right? Those are easily influenced people. But once you believe in something, you're gonna be that way regardless who you meet and what you do. You're
Yeah.
gonna always be that way. You're always gonna be that person. You're always gonna present the same energy from that type of belief that you believe in, because of the fact that where your belief is so strong that no matter who you meet, they can't change your belief or they can't sit there and manipulate your belief into thinking that it's something else that it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I say some people, they don't believe that you're a bad influence. They're just easily influenced. You know?
But if you believe something, and thank you for that, and I think what you say makes sense. But if you believe something, even if it's helping you, you know, cohere with the people that you socialize with,
Yeah.
even if it helps you like maintain in the face of changes, right, which are all the good things you've mentioned, is it worth holding that belief if the belief itself is not factual, if it's not actually true?
Well, that's the thing about believing. See, like they say, if you know something that's knowledge and you know it's proven, believing
Yeah.
something that you never know is going to happen or you never know that's real, you just understand that you have faith in it, knowing that it's going to sit there and protect you and that you know that it's going to guide you through. You never know what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I believe, like, believing in something is like, how I want to say, it's like having,
Off at Pioneer Square, right?
yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Cool.
Okay, nah, you're good. Nah, so yeah, like believing in something, I feel like is just knowing that, just having that idea that you can sit there and just have that faith that something that you want to. I don't know. I don't really know how to word it. I don't know. I don't really know how to word it, but it's in my head though. It's in my head though.
So-
you know, like
If we talk to my friend Mo here, Mo lives off by herself on an island. Well, not with herself. She's got her own little society off on an island.
yeah,
She also has beliefs that are based on how she was raised. And her family believes that there's no heaven and hell. But she's using the same method to get to that belief as you are, right? Because it's the way she was believed. So if you and Mo were together and you were trying to figure out which one of you was right and which one of you is wrong, or could you both be right? Could you be right that there's a heaven and hell and she's right that there's not?
it's the concept.
It is a
It's the
concept.
concept.
But
It's not only that, but it's the understanding of the concept. Because if
Yeah.
we both get the same understanding that good is good and bad is bad, and that if you do good, you go to heaven, you do bad, you go to hell,
Yeah.
then in some way we may have this called having different terms, but it's still
Right.
the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
We would, like, some people say the universe, you know, some people say the universe is God, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like stuff like that. You know, she may not believe in good is bad and bad is good, or, you know, heaven and hell.
Right.
But then again, it's still the same principle.
Okay.
It's still the
So-
same understanding that if you do this, you will get, you know, and there will be like, you know, bad. She may believe in karma or whatever
Yeah.
it is. You know what I'm saying? Like
She loves
bad
karma.
is bad and good is
Yeah.
good. There's no in between of that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So
There's a
you're
very fine line between bad and good.
yeah.
You know?
So let me see. Let me see if I understand what you're saying. I think what I heard you saying is that heaven and hell really are kind of more of a metaphor for, to help guide your actions, to guide what's good and what's bad.
I mean, yes, at the same time, yeah, it is a metaphor because it's if you think about it, it's a metaphor is like a way to, like, I don't know, I don't really know how deep you really go into metaphors and shit like that, but
Yeah.
I feel like a metaphor is something that you can like talk about, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and also have that understanding, but then again, it's not real because I feel like a metaphor is something that's like, I don't know, it's just different because I feel like what you're talking about is a metaphor on the spiritual level, but I'm thinking
Yeah.
a metaphor is like the grammar level, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
metaphor and similes, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
but I can kind of
Columbia
tap
City.
into the level that you're like, what you're thinking of though. I
Yeah.
understand like where you're getting, I just don't know how to really word it. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, see, kind of what I'm trying to get to is people have beliefs, but a lot of the time they don't think about why they hold them.
Yeah.
And so I think you've identified really well, like you were raised in a certain way, like you're in a culture, there's these cultural influences that hold things together. But really what I'm trying to get to is like what are the things that are actually true, actually not true, and how do those inform your beliefs? Like wouldn't you, if you had the choice of having a belief just because it was how you were raised, and maybe having the same belief but having solid reasons, factual reasons for it, which one would you prefer?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Um, well, in all honesty, I mean, we all believe that, well, I believe that if you do good, you go to Christ. And, you know, if you
Mm-hmm.
know Christ, just as you get born again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You go to hell, you don't get born again, you get stuck down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, if I would love to be born again, who wouldn't want to be born again? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would believe in God because of the fact that where I would want to be born again and me having that thought. It's like you reaching a goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You reaching that goal and it's like, okay, I'm going to set this goal and I know once I reach this goal, I'm going to get to the point to where I got to set another goal to where I can surpass this goal, right?
Yeah.
So my goal is like if I want to be good and I want to come back, you know what I'm saying? Whether
Yeah.
it's reincarnation or whatever, through another soul or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like I want to reach that goal as far I want to be able to live life. I love my life. You know,
Yeah.
it's not perfect, it's not the best, but I love my life, you know? And just me being able to live life again and you know, like just being able to experience that, I would love that. So therefore I believe in God because it's like I guess I want to live again.
Yeah.
I want to live.
Well-
you know, I just love life. You know, and it's not something that you could say is a belief. It's just something I love.
Yeah.
I love life. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
I can't take. Nobody can really take that away from you, whether it's a belief or not.
100%.
I know you know, just like I've lost my little brother before. I lost a little brother to me. You know what I'm saying?
Really
So
sorry.
I know what it is to lose
Yeah.
life and love life. You know,
Yeah.
and I just love life. That's all it is. It's not really. I guess you could say it's not really a belief. It's something I love. You know, it's just really what it is.
Indeed. Indeed. You know, there was something you said in there that I was gonna jump on, but now I'm not remembering it. But I like it. We got to that moment where we're talking about hey, if you have a belief, you have a reason to be a good person, right? And
Basically, yeah.
and I think what we discovered when I asked you that question before is maybe you would rather do good things for good solid reasons you could point to and say, you know, hey, there's a chair here, so I know I can sit on it.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're going to do good things and maybe do the same things that you would do today, right? Would you want those reasons to be ones that are verifiable and factual and you can point to and you can say, okay, I know this is good because
I
of
mean, okay,
this,
to me
right?
it sounds like you're saying would I want to leave my mark on this world, on this earth. You know what I'm saying? Like would I want to leave, like would I want to leave my symbol or would I want to leave my mark? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody
Yeah.
say they want to
Yeah.
leave their destiny, their history,
Yep.
whatever. No, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to live my life. I want to do whatever comes my way. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? If that's whether it's, you know, from A to Z, whatever it could be. You know what I'm saying?
So are you saying, I'm piecing together several of these pieces of conversation. Are you saying that if you didn't have these beliefs that you were raised with, that underlie your idea about what right is wrong with, if you didn't think that doing good is what you need to do to live again, would you not be a good person?
No, I'm a good person in general.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that where believing what I believe in adds some intensity to that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, every good person has their limits. Everybody has their limits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not everybody's perfect. Not everybody has that, you know, quick, instant thinking when their emotions hit, and it's like, hey, hold your composure. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody has that, because like they say, your emotions get the best of you 90% of the time.
Yeah.
It's whether or not you're able to quick reaction or have that quick reaction where you're able to think and be like, hey, not the time or the place, calm down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's just like me, I'm a good person in general, you know? I don't wish hate on nobody. I'm not a hater. I'm not a jealous type of person. I never have been, never will be, you know? And I just thank God for that. You know, one thing again, like, you know, it's like, there's one thing about me, it's like, I can't, you know? So it's like, I feel like everybody has their own personality. That's another reason why it's like everybody has their own mindset. Because then again, not only that, but you were raised differently. You were raised different demographics. You were raised around different people. So your inside of life can be completely different from mine based off of who you was around, what you was around, and what you went through. You know what I'm saying? If I told you some of the shit I went through, you wouldn't even believe that I would be a good person today. I swear to God. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, that's just life, though. Everybody has their own things going on. You never know who's going through it worse. That's why they always say, never be there and judge somebody, because you never know what they're going through.
100%.
You never know what they could be dealing with when you see them in public versus what they go home to. You know what I'm saying? What happens in closed doors is something you never know about, you know? So it's just like, you just got to always sit there and just be humble.
But you know.
Just be humble. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's another thing.
No, but you know what you did behind closed doors. That's what I'm saying, right?
Everybody does. You know what I'm saying? But it's
you do. So your conscience needs.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it may not be the same thing that somebody else does behind closed doors. You know, but it still has that same significance when it comes to having your dignity, I guess you could say. When it comes to having that maturity, when you're able to tell somebody what you did behind closed doors. You know, you're doing it behind closed doors because you're scared to tell somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why they say you don't know what somebody does behind closed doors, because they'll never tell you until they do. And then you realize, like, it's like, damn, that's why they did it behind closed doors, you know? Like,
so I want to take us back to someplace we were before, because we started out talking about heaven and hell, and I think what I understand now is those to you are kind of metaphors. But you do believe that there is a life after this life, and that your actions determine whether you go there or not. Is that accurate?
I mean, I feel like, okay, I guess there's 50-50 to that, because yes to that, yes. But then again, I also feel like some people can also live by Christ, but also just.
Here, do you mind if I sit down here? I feel like I'm hovering over you, and I feel like we're two old white men menacing a young black man. That's not my vibe. So.
Nah, so like, I just feel like having that idea that, you know, being able to just be, I don't know. I guess I try to be better every day, you know? So to me, it's like being a good person is not something you could really be. It's something you can achieve.
Right.
You know? That's why they say try to be your best you every day. Try to be better than you was yesterday, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, it's just like...
So really what we want to get to, though, is like the belief is great, right? Being good, being a good person. But what we're trying to get to is what are the methods you use to figure out if things are true? Beacon Hill. And so if you're thinking, you know, if you have this belief, okay, if I'm a good person, I'm going to live another life. Let's talk about like what reasons lead you to believe, like how are you figuring out that that's true? And let's see if those are good reasons. So you've talked about, you know, it's like the way you were raised.
Yeah, not only that, but like I like reading the Bible and stuff like that. Like I don't know if you guys ever read the Bible. My grandma was really big on that, so I like. Yeah. There was one time where I used to like know like scriptures from the Bible and stuff like that, and it would tell you like, they say the Bible is like the book of like life progress. You know, it's like. It's like basically a playbook, you know, like how life is gonna turn out, you know.
Right.
And like to me, just reading certain stuff like that, it kind of resonates with me sometimes because like if you read it, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, there was one time where my grandma told me it's like treat others the way you want to be treated. You know,
Yeah.
and like to me that really made sense because it's like you're right. Because why would you want somebody to treat you like an asshole, but then you want them to treat you like a king?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So if you read something and it makes sense to you,
It's logical.
yeah.
But if
It
I
is,
read something and I understand it and it
yeah.
really like it takes me on a different level, then it's something I believe. You know what I'm saying?
So if you read something and it makes you feel a certain way, is that a good reason to believe that something is true?
Not all times, because not all good feelings or you know, not all feelings are good feelings. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like
So
guess
are your feelings about things a good?
it's mixed
Could you
emotions.
have good feelings about things and those things wind up not being true?
Yeah, it's life. It's happened before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So is paying attention to your feelings when you're reading something a good way to tell
No,
whether
it's
it's
not your
true or
feelings.
not?
It's paying attention to your mind. Because your mind is what interprets what you're reading, and your mind is what it tells your heart
Yeah.
what to feel. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
same question though. It's like if your mind is interpreting something and it's your interpretation, is that a good reason to believe that the thing is real? And I'm not suggesting it's not real, right?
No, I
We're talking
understand
about
what
the
you're saying.
methods,
No,
right?
no,
The
I
methods
understand
you're
what you're
using,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, I think it's like nowadays it's like you got to do research in order to find the truth. You know.
Okay.
So then again, you never really know what's real.
Cool.
So then again, you just have to really get a good understanding and make sure that you understand whether it's
Mhm.
something that's for you or not for you.
Right.
You know.
So what would you do to research your thoughts about like an afterlife? How could you determine what would be a good way to test whether there is or there's not an
I don't
afterlife
think
if
you
you're a
can
good
do that.
person?
I don't
Okay.
think that's possible.
If
Because if you really want to do that, you're gonna have to sit there and find somebody who's been reincarnated, somebody
yeah,
who's, you know, probably been in a coma and probably for a couple months or a year and
yeah.
probably seen God. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't believe that that's not true.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It may have happened. You know what I'm saying? I've had people close to me where they've said they've seen things that I probably
Hmm.
would have been like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you never know, you know. So it's just
I mean,
like they
sidebar on that.
say, depending on how deep your beliefs in, you you feel different things on different spiritual levels. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The deeper your belief, the deeper you think. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just the more you believe, the more you experience things on that spiritual level of the thing that you believe in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If
So
that makes sense.
it does. And but I'm trying to remember what it was you said. It was about uh, you could do some research, but you said, oh, you can't really test that.
Because it's
So
not a tangible thing.
yeah, because it's not a tangible thing.
That's
So
why I say it's like it's something you believe in. You know, something you
so
believe in is something that you trust, something
yeah,
that you feel
but
like is gonna have your back. Like they say, God doesn't come when you need him, but he
yeah,
comes on time.
but if it's something that you can't test, is it a good thing to believe in something if it's something that you can't test?
Not all tests are good tests.
Not all tests are good tests. That's true. But if you can't test something at all, are you justified in believing it if you can't test it to tell if it's
I
true?
see where you're coming at. It's like, do you have proof that hey, this is good for me, or this is something that I can believe in, or it's
Mm.
like, hey, it's something that I read and I understand. It's like, hey, okay, I want to live like this, so I'm gonna believe it.
Yeah.
I get that, and there's two different point of views to that completely. You know what I'm saying? You never really understand. It just again, it's just like I think that goes back to where it's like you have to like it's just what you grew up in believing in. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? You
Yeah.
can't really sit there and like they say, a lot of things are man-made. A lot of things are beliefs. You know,
Yep.
like they say, anything that's man-made is never 100%.
Yeah.
You know, it's not perfect. It never will be. So then again, that's just like a belief. You
Right.
know, some people believe in clowns. Some people believe in like Santa Claus. Some people believe in the gingerbread man. All
Yeah.
that stuff. You know,
Yeah.
but that ain't true. You ain't
But
never seen that big ass gingerbread man riding around the city, have you?
I
You
would I
know.
would love to,
You
man.
know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's just certain shit. You know, it's like the belief. It's the belief. It's your mental. It's your mental. It's all a mental game. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to facts, you can't beat facts with a belief because
Yeah.
the facts is something that's proven. A belief is something that you can only hold a thought to and actually have faith in it.
Wouldn't you rather that your beliefs were backed with facts?
Yes, that's what makes beliefs into fact. That's what turns beliefs into facts. The fact that they have facts to back up the beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But then again, like I say, a belief is always going to stay a belief. It's always
Yeah.
going to stay a thought because then again, it's something that you have faith in, not something that has been proven.
Right.
You know?
Do you think people who do things that you would consider reprehensible, just horrible, horrible things, do you think they have beliefs that back those up?
I mean, it's hard to tell nowadays. A lot of people are not mentally always there. You know, so it's like a lot of people believe in. And it's crazy because a lot of people can have mental illnesses and not even know it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But
you know, it's just.
Whether
crazy.
somebody has a mental illness or not, if they do something bad, do you think are they motivated by beliefs? So
see, that's another thing.
And
See,
how
look,
can we tell, right, whether their beliefs are true or your beliefs are true, if neither of them are backed by facts? How do we do a test to determine
research
whether you're good or? But we already said we can't research this. I feel stuck. Where would you go?
I think what you're trying to ask
Yeah.
is how confident should we be in conclusions that we can't test? Like, how confident are you in the afterlife? And if we can't test it, if it's not a good reason, are you at the level of confidence that you want to be?
North Gate.
Okay, that's a good question. I would say yes, because if you really want something to be true, you would believe in it regardless of what somebody says. You know.
But does you believing in it make it true?
I mean, no, because you can believe in something and it can be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, so you can believe in something and somebody could tell you completely different and they could be right because of the fact that where they've seen different, they've been proven different. You know, so it's like being right doesn't mean that your belief is right.
No, but
it just may be something that you've been guided to believe, or something that you've been told, like, hey.
How reliable is that?
Yeah.
Not really, I guess you could say, because of the fact that where there's not really a lot of facts proven, just a lot of people saying what has been done for them and to them. You know, it's like a lot of miracles, I guess you could say. You know.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like there's some people that are always going to sit there and sit with the facts versus, you know, the opinion. You know, it's just how life is. You're going to have people like that. You're going to have people that aren't like that.
Is the afterlife an opinion?
To me, it's a belief. I feel like a belief is stronger than an opinion, because an opinion can be persuaded. A belief can't be. But then again, I feel like a belief can be with facts. Now, I don't know. It's kind of tricky though. It's tricky. It's tricky.
Is a belief
It's
not
tricky.
persuaded? Can you just decide to believe something? Or are you convinced of it?
I feel like a belief is something that you've been brought up into believing, or something that you've been brought up into being persuaded into believing, you know, or something that you've been persuaded into thinking that is true, you know, and therefore that you get older, like they say, you're set in stone, you know. Once you get older, your opinion and your mindset doesn't really change, so therefore it's like once you get to a certain age, you believe in what you believe, and nobody can really change that because of the way that you were brought up, and like the people that were telling you the things that they were telling you at a certain age, you trusted them, and you, like say your mom was telling you this, your dad was telling you that, your sister was telling you this, your brother was telling you that, you know, so you trust these people, so you're sitting there thinking like, hey, they're telling me this, so it must be true. Not only like it doesn't count as to where like you're getting people are telling you things, but also it depends on who the people are that are telling you things. That's another thing that also causes you to be like more persuasive based off of what you think and what you believe in. You know, like I've been in situations where it's like somebody told me one thing, you know, and I didn't really believe it. But then somebody I knew came up to me and was like, hey, such and such said, you know, and I was like, oh, okay, so it's really real. You know, like you never really know what's real until somebody you trust or somebody you know comes up and tells you.
If somebody you trust tells you something, does that make it true?
Okay, in different situations it does, because
I'll grant you there are some situations where it will be.
Yeah.
Is the fact of somebody you trust telling you something, regardless of what it is, does that mean that it's true in every case?
I mean, yes and no.
Yes and no?
Because, like, say the event they could be telling you is real, but the scenario of the event could be fake.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Let's
it's like,
let's pretend you trust me. There are an odd number of Tic Tacs in this box. Do you believe me?
yes, because I can see it.
You believe that there's an odd number in this box?
It could be even. You never know.
No, but I'm telling you it's odd. Do you believe me?
No,
Why not?
because I don't trust anybody.
Well, but you just told me that you're going to believe these things you were raised in, and you're going to believe what your friends tell you. You're going to believe that what they tell you is true.
But see, like I said though, it comes to a different level where it's like I was younger and I was being told things by people that I trusted when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I've learned that not everything that people are saying are true. You know, so yes, I guess you could say opinions can be persuaded, and that facts can be proven to change opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I just feel like my personal opinion is that a belief is a belief, and you can't change that. You know what I'm saying? A belief
Right.
is something that because people are set in stone once they get to a certain age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, you can't really sit there and change somebody's mind unless they want to sit there and believe that.
Yeah.
You feel me?
If
So it's like,
if you found out, I'm going to try to come up with a hypothetical here, so stick with me. And this is talking about, like, you're putting a lot of your belief on, like, the way you were raised. If you found out that the people who raised you, who told you that that there's an afterlife that you'll go to if you're good, if you found out that they didn't believe that at all, and they were lying to you, I'm not saying they are, again, it's just hypothetical, would that reduce your confidence in
it
your
most definitely
belief?
would. It
Yeah.
would.
Okay.
Because then again, that's when being a hypocrite comes in. You know, why are you telling
Yeah.
me something that you don't believe in? You know, don't sit here and tell a lie to somebody if you don't believe
Right.
in something. You know, then at that point, then that's when it becomes to the
Right.
the unworthiness and this dishonesty. You know,
Yeah.
like,
So if somebody raised you with that belief, would you prefer to know factual or evidential based things? Like, how could you test to know for yourself that that thing is true if you're not sure if you can rely on the things you were raised with? It goes back to David's question of, is it worth believing something, if you don't know whether it's true?
but then that's the thing. That's what I feel like it turns into a belief. You know what I'm saying? There's a fine line
I think
between
this is
belief.
Pioneer Square. I think this is you.
Can I grab that?
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. This was a great chat. It's great to meet you, Armando. Yeah. Have a great day. Omando.
Cool. That was good.
Yeah.
It's really warm.
Yeah. He was a trip. Should we get off too?
If you want to.
Yeah. Let's see if we can. Excuse me. Let me see if we can still. Work our way out. Do we have everything?
Yep.
All right. Cool.
We got the camera.
All right. Perfect.
Can you hold that for a second?
Yeah. You bet. Yeah.
You have
We can
the,
just sit down and debrief.
Do you have the lens caps for those?
I do. They're in my
just wanna
pocket
make sure you have
somewhere.
them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess I shouldn't put them on if we're still debriefing.
Yeah, and I'll put this on.
Cool. Oh man, I loved Omando.
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 Yeah. He said his parents made that shit up.
I felt like there was some reflection there.
Yeah, I do too. Although similar to the guy I talked to who thought that depression wasn't real, I kind of got to that moment of aporia, right, where he said, "Oh, wow, that's really an interesting thing," and then the conversation went beyond that. In this case, I felt like we got to that point twice. The second one was when you came in, and asked, are you justified in that confidence if you don't have a way to test it?
Yeah, how confident
Which-
should we be in things that we can't
God
test?
damn it, I had already asked him that, and when you asked him that, you got him straight to the realization. When I asked him that, it just went right by.
Well,
But,
maybe,
But that's good. Like,
I
doing that
just
multiple
you just
times.
loosened it up.
Yeah, that's right. I loosened it up. No, that was good. That was really good, and I really appreciate you asked the right question at the right time. But yeah, I think he got to a couple of those points, and I wonder if towards the end, maybe he was thinking and having some reflection, but he just like felt like he needed to stick to his guns because he wasn't ready to kind of like change his mindset. I really thought it was interesting what he was saying there towards the end, where it was basically an anti neuroplasticity argument, saying,
Yeah.
once you get older, like it's set in stone,
People
and you
can't change
can't
their
change
beliefs
their
is what I heard.
beliefs.
Yeah.
And you can't choose or you can't be convinced of things. You can be convinced of opinions,
Right.
but you
not
can get to an
beliefs.
opinion through convincing, but not beliefs. So that was really interesting. I wanted to spend like 3 days talking with
Yeah, with a
him.
whiteboard.
Yeah,
With the diagram, okay, this informs this, this informs this.
yeah.
I wanted to know his answer to the question, how do the people that don't believe in God appreciate life?
Mm,
How do they do it?
yeah. But I mean, we weren't even down in the belief in God. There were
Yeah,
three things
This was early
that
on.
there was like a triangle, like that kept going around where it's like heaven and hell, the soul, God. And whenever we asked him about one, he'd point to the other. But it was a consistent internal cycle, right? Of these three things. I forget what some of the what things were. I'd be interested to see the video after. But it was interesting trying to keep him on topic and kind of bring him back,
Yeah.
right, to where we were. But yeah, it felt like he's not. I think he was pretty self-aware about the fact that these are cultural norms that he was raised in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I didn't feel like if we took that away from him, his morals would change,
Right.
or he'd lose his sense of identity.
Uh-huh.
And I think he was self-aware of the fact that these were like beliefs that were brought to him,
Yeah, and they weren't necessarily good reasons.
and they weren't good reasons. But he was also clinging to the, I guess, indoctrination is the word. Although it didn't feel like toxic sort of indoctrination as much as, hey, this is the culture I was raised in, right? This
Yeah.
is how my family believed,
Right.
and that's why I believe.
Right.
But he also had a very strong feeling of, I want to be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I asked, like, if you didn't have this reason to be a good person, would you still be a good person? He was like, yeah, I'd still be a good person. So there's a whole potential avenue of conversation there.
Yeah.
Of, well, what is really your foundation of morality?
Yeah.
Right? What is your real definition of good and bad?
Yeah.
Right? So
And how do you determine when it's important to have a good reason or not?
yeah. Yeah.
How do you decide
Yeah.
which beliefs need a good reason and which ones don't?
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of squidginess around when I asked him, do you believe it's important that your beliefs be true? And at first he said 100% yes. And then when I kind of probed about, well, how do you know these beliefs are true? He was like, oh, that's not important.
Right.
Right? So
Yeah.
he was kind of all over the map. And that's not a bad thing. Like I think he's going to really think about this. But
Hopefully.
I don't know, maybe he's just going to call someone and say, oh my God, I just had this like really trippy experience with these two old white dudes.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. With this one old white dude and this one young hip white dude.
Latino.
Latino dude. Yeah, that's right.
Just giving you a hard time.
I know. Well, it's like, and now we're going to start talking some racist shit, but on camera, it used to be when Italians first came to the U.S., they were not considered white.
Right.
They were considered ethnic.
Well, they were
right?
other.
They were other. And now Italians within the U.S. would be considered white. And I think that's happening with Hispanic. I mean, there's a lot of furor about the Hispanic population, but it seems like it's trending in that direction, right? There's lots of people
Yeah, it depends on how you categorize it.
Yeah.
And where you draw the line.
Yeah. Anyway, neither here nor there for this conversation, but yeah, no, I thought that was great. I was so glad. As soon as he started talking to us on the platform, I was like, this is a long shot, but
Yeah.
but I loved that he engaged and he was willing to have the conversation. So I
Yeah.
thought that was good.
I hope that he didn't feel like both physically and I don't know what the other word would be, cornered.
Yeah, that's specifically why I sat down
I'm
at one
glad
point,
that
because I
that
was
was
like,
changed.
because I could see there was a transit employee who was in the next car, and he was like
Oh,
staring us down.
I didn't
He
see
was
that.
like, he was looking like, do I need to come intervene here?
Oh,
Because here's these two white guys hovering over this
Yeah.
this black kid,
with
right?
cameras.
That's specifically why I wanted to sit down with
Yeah.
him. And even then, I felt like at first, it felt like it was maybe I was enforcing intimacy on him. And it
Yeah.
was only like towards the end I felt like that resolved, at least the feeling resolved for me.
Yeah.
So it felt like it got more comfortable there. But
Yeah. Maybe if we could do it again, I would have like checked in and been like,
yeah,
"We doing okay?" Like, I don't want you. And I think you kinda
maybe
did.
that would have been a better. I noted that I was sitting down for that reason. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
check in with him.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
you're right. That would have been a good thing to do. I want to flip over to the other side and get the next train one stop down to International District, because there's also good bubble tea there.
Okay.
And I'm fixated on bubble tea right
All
now.
right.